Nutrition. It's a broad topic. There are many aspects of nutrition that we can talk about. I'm sure you guys have heard numerous fad diets and magical supplements out on the internet that make all these false promises. So, we're not going to talk about any of that today. Today we're going to talk about core foundational concepts to nutrition, not only to optimize your performance in the gym, but also in your everyday life, and some of the foundational concepts to your mindset that you need to have in order to make any sort of changes, including weight loss, gaining muscle, etc. So as athletes, which we are all athletes here, nutrition should be prioritized around your workouts. So the biggest question is, okay, what do I eat? When do I eat? How much do I eat? So timing is a really important factor in the workouts, either before or after. So I'm going to give you some examples so we can learn how to optimize not only muscle growth, but also recovery. So your pre-workout meal, 1 to 3 hours, hear me out, Sid, because I know you're an early morning person just like me. Preferably 1 to 3 hours before you work out. You want to have your meal consist mainly of protein, carbohydrates, and you want to minimize the fats as much as possible. Fats take a really long time to digest. It's harder for the stomach to break down, and so when you need all the protein and all the carbs to enter into your muscles to fuel your workouts, if you eat a lot of fat beforehand, it kind of slows everything down. Not to mention you'll feel like you have a break in your stomach when you're working out, which is never fun. So the benefits of this is to boost your performance, hydrates your muscles, and promotes recovery, which helps to build muscle mass faster. Some examples of a pre-workout meal would be Greek yogurt with fruit, a lower fat Greek yogurt. You can do chicken with rice, sweet potatoes, you can do white potatoes, you can do a salad as long as it has some form of protein in it, or you could put it all into a smoothie. Now, for the early morning people like you and I, eating this big meal at 5 o'clock in the morning, probably not ideal. So what I suggest, it's doable, but you're probably going to be nauseous. Not everyone likes to wake up and stuff their stomach. Eating something small that absorbs quickly. So like a piece of toast with jelly on it, a fast-acting carbohydrate because it gets into your system fast. And then drinking a protein shake instead of eating your protein. Okay. Because when you take nutrients in liquid form, it's a lot easier to absorb and break down in your body.
So if you just have, is it already going to interrupt?
Of course, absolutely.
If you have less than 30 minutes to get to the gym,
yeah,
do you just still take that protein shake?
I do. So if you want to minimize,
it's good to know, because I was afraid to do that.
Yeah, no. What I do is I actually make the shake at night before bed. So I'm getting up and then I'm just grabbing my shake and I'm walking out the door. I personally will eat something on the go. So a piece of fruit. I love rice cakes, and you can take them anywhere with you. Or I'll eat like a piece of bread with jelly on it. Or if you like candy, I sometimes eat gummy bears, but that's just me, don't judge. It's sugar. It's sugar. Not that I recommend eating gummy bears every day before every workout, but it works. It gets the job done, and it's portable. So those are a couple of options. Post-workout meals are going to be essentially the same setup. You want to maximize having protein in every meal, having your carbohydrates, again, minimizing fats. So regardless of where your workout is, just try to time your fats the furthest away from those workouts. So if you're working out at 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, you would want to have a lot of your fats in the morning. So you could eat whole eggs, you could eat oatmeal with peanut butter in it, you could have a sandwich with avocado, but then as soon as it gets closer to that pre-workout meal and then your post-workout meal, you would want to minimize the fats just so you can get that protein and carbohydrates into your system as fast as possible. Okay? And so for post-workout, you've already done the workout, you've already hydrated your muscles at that point, but you think post-workout you're depleted. You utilized all that nutrition that you just intook. So now you want to replenish your glycogen stores. You want to again rehydrate your muscles, which is going to promote muscle synthesis and again induce recovery. Because no one likes to be sore for 3 to 4 days after the workouts. These are some pretty little pictures that I got together of a great meal. So if you notice, This is oatmeal. It does have some cut up fruit. The only thing that's missing from this would be your protein source. So an easy way to do that is protein powder. So if you're eating it cold, or even if you're warming it up, when you mix it with the water, just throw one or two scoops of your favorite protein powder in. You could do like a strawberry flavored protein powder, which is really good with oatmeal. If you were wanting something a little bit more simple, if you have a vanilla protein powder, it's literally whatever you have that you want to use, but protein is protein. The only thing I recommend is if you heat your protein powder, if the protein powder is not made to be heated, sometimes it will break it down and not make it absorbable. So just double check your protein powders if you plan on microwaving it. And then up here, obviously a salad. That looks amazing because it has chicken in it, and it looks like it has pomegranate seeds, which is a great addition to a salad that a lot of people don't ever try. And then this is your basic chicken and veggies that can be boring, but if you cook it with the right spices, it can be really, really good. So this is a basic way that you can learn to measure your food because, let's be honest, no one carries around a food scale with them. And learning how to use a scale can be very technical and overwhelming sometimes. So I have this great picture that makes it really simple. You literally take your scale with you wherever you go because it's your hand. So the portion of protein, you want to think about the palm of your hand. For guys, you usually want to have 1 to 2. I would lean towards 2 palmfuls of meat, which is going to give you around 8 to 10 ounces of protein per meal. This is more towards, obviously, meats because it's a solid protein form. Vegetables, you want to think about just putting your hand in a whatever vegetable you're eating, and that's how much you're going to put on your plate. You want to have 1 to 2 of those per meal. Please don't forget your veggies. They are very, very important for micronutrients. And then carbohydrates is, instead of grabbing a fist of veggies, you want to think about cupping it. So whatever fits in, because if it floats over, then it's too much. So you want to be able to cup whatever it is, whether that's potatoes, rice, oatmeal, whatever your choice is. And then for fats, you want to think about the size of your thumb. Now to get really, really technical, because the most common one you'll see, like the example here showing, you can see the almonds. A serving of fat for nuts, and this is across the board with most nuts, is 7 nuts, which gives you about 7 grams of fat. So that's not that many. It's a very, very small amount. Because if you figure fats are very condensed with calories, which is why the serving size is this small compared to the serving size of protein and carbohydrates or fats. And that's your basic plate setup. Okay, so that was our focus on pre and post workout. Fueling your workouts is very important, but there is that other side of it where we all kind of can learn what to do, but if our head's not in it and our goals aren't set right and we're not mentally prepared to do these changes, make these changes, it's never going to stick. So how do you set yourself up the other 23 hours of the day when you're not at the gym? First things first, this is the most important one. You have to have a routine. Routine is very, very important. And if you noticed, there's consistent. Our bodies and our brains, they thrive off consistency. So that is your consistent bedtime, going to bed around the same time and waking up around the same time, even on the weekends. Yes, it's hard because you want to sleep in. As long as you're getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep, that's all you need. Try to make it as consistent as possible. Same thing with meal times. A lot of people look over this because Monday through Friday, you're at work, and you're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner around the same times, but then weekends happen, and you sleep in, you eat a late breakfast, you go run errands, you bypass your normal lunchtime, so you stop and get Starbucks, you get a snack because you're hungry, and then you eat a late lunch, but then you end up eating too much because you're hungry, because your meal times got thrown off. I see that happen a lot. People say they're good Monday through Friday with their meals, and then what happens on the weekend? Everything falls apart. And I'm like, oh, I'm so good Monday through Friday. And then Saturday, there was a birthday party, and I didn't eat all day, so then I ended up eating like 6 slices of pizza. Whereas, if you kept a consistent breakfast, lunch, and then still went to the party and still ate the pizza, you probably wouldn't have eaten 6 pieces if you had that consistent intake all day, because you wouldn't be ravaging with hunger. The next one, another really big one, is water intake. Our bodies are 70% water, And so we need to consistently have that hydration. It helps us with sleep, it helps us with concentration, it helps us obviously with our workouts, it helps with muscle recovery. And then the often overlooked one is our self-care routine. All of these things added together is what's going to help you perform at your best to optimize your weight loss, optimize gaining muscle, whatever it is your goal is. So this is a fun little exercise that I have for you guys. I want everyone to create a wellness vision, because if you want to do anything in life, if you first can't realistically imagine it in your mind, you can never bring it to reality. So I want you to sit, whether you can do this at home as well, if you want to close your eyes, put your head down, I want you to envision what it feels like to be the healthiest version of yourself. Are you thinking about how proud you are of your new 10-minute mile? Or are you thinking about how you're going to be able to fit into those skinny jeans that have been sitting in your closet for the past 5 years? Are you thinking about coming off of your diabetes or hypertension medications? Or are you super happy because you can finally have the energy to keep up with your kids? These are the type of things that you first need to actually think it, see it, and feel it in your mind first. And then you can create a plan how to bring it to fruition in your life. Identifying a support system is really important, because we can all set a goal for ourselves, but you know the old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. It also takes a village to help others raise their own goals and make them actually happen. So you have to get to a point where you can ask yourselves these questions, and I've put the questions up on the board. The first question is, how can the people in my life support me, and how can I communicate this with them? So it's one thing to say, okay, well, I need my best friends to not want to go out to eat and drink every weekend, because that's not supporting my goals. Or I really need my husband to be on the same page, because if I want to stop drinking soda and I want to start this new fitness routine, it's going to be hard if he drinks soda every day and keeps it in the house. It's going to make me break. So these are the questions that you need to ask, and you need to ask them to everyone that is in your support system. The next question you need to ask yourself is, what knowledge or skills do I need to learn? Where can I learn these skills? And when and if I can set aside time to consistently learn those things. So for example, you guys wanted to learn about nutrition today. You realized that you wanted to make changes. You told yourself, okay, well, what skills do I need to learn? Well, I need to start somewhere, so let's go to the nutrition seminar. Okay, I'm gonna set out the time on this Saturday to come here and learn. That was a plan. It wasn't just like, I guess I'll go to the nutrition seminar. You had a goal, there was a reason why you're here, and you're taking the time to cut it out of your schedule so that you can start to make changes. And then the last question you wanna ask yourself is, if I were to get professional support, what is the single biggest challenge that I would want the support with? So for people who do come to me for coaching, the very first thing I do on the consultation call is I ask, what do you want? Because usually I will hear, I want to get stronger. I want to increase my 1 rep max back squat, or I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight is what I hear the most. Okay, great. Everyone wants to lose weight. Get specific. What do you want to lose? 10 pounds. Okay, why? Why is that important to you? Because ever since I had my last kid, you know, I look in the mirror, I don't like what I see. Okay, so you want your self-confidence back. So this weight loss results in self-confidence. The self-confidence is really the deep issue that we're working on. It just portrays itself as weight loss. Does that make sense? You have to get really, really clear what it is exactly that you want. And this is one of my all-time favorite quotes. Weight loss does not begin in the gym with a dumbbell. It starts in your head with a decision. So we all have goals, whether it's to change your weight, improve your health, build muscle, etc. The very first step is making that decision and then doing nothing to stop until you get it. Questions? Any questions on that? No. So there was one question for someone who RSVP'd Tina, I don't know if it was you, because there was a couple of other people, because you shook your head. There was one question. Someone asked about foods to eat in order to burn fat or to avoid gaining fat. So it's not so much there are certain foods that burn fat. It's more about optimizing muscle growth and building muscle, because muscle is what's going to burn through the fat. So eating a fatty food like, I don't know, like a hamburger, it's not going to make you fat. What will make you fat is if you have a calorie, you have an overage of calories and you don't utilize calories for energy and it gets stored as fat. That's how weight gain and weight loss happens. But
Say that again.
So if you put yourself in a calorie deficit, so if you metabolically are burning more calories than you're eating, you will lose. Depending on the content of your food, if you're optimizing your protein intake, if you're hitting all your protein needs, you're hitting all your carbohydrate needs, you're getting all your vitamins and minerals, when you lose that weight in a deficit, you will maintain and grow muscle because you're optimizing what your body needs. Now, if you go the other way and you eat too many calories, whatever you don't use between eating, breathing, your heart beating, everything takes energy and we burn energy. If you eat too much for that and include your workouts, you're going to gain fat. Does that make sense? So it's not a specific food that makes fat. It's not making you fat, it creates fat cells. It's just dependent on how many calories you're taking in, how many calories you're not taking in, and then the breakdown of those, which is why in the beginning of this talk I focus on macros, because those three components, protein, carbohydrates, and fats, is how you want to set up your meals to know that not only are you getting the right amount of calories, but you're getting the right amount of macronutrients to optimize. Are you building muscle or are you losing muscle? Yep. Are you building fat or are you losing fat? So for whoever answered that, I hope that answers the question. Belly loss, eat for gain and belly loss. Belly loss is losing fat. We all have six packs, every single person. They're just covered with a nice little layer of fat. So everyone's heard it, six-pack abs are made in the kitchen, not in the gym. I mean, obviously you can do core exercises to make it stronger and make it hypertrophy. But for losing a belly, it's really fat loss, which goes into optimizing protein, getting adequate amount of water, eating healthier carbohydrate sources, and having a consistent fitness routine. And that's all the questions that I have. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I made this short and sweet because I was hoping more people would show up and ask questions. But that's all I got for you. I have put all of this up here for you guys. These are the best ways to contact me. Sophrosity Health Coaching is my website, sophrosityhealthcoaching.com. I do have a Sophrosity Health Facebook group for those of you who have Facebook. Everyone watching me live, obviously you're already in the group, or you can follow me on Instagram at sophrosityhealth_coaching. I am always posting lots of content to learn, and you can always reach out to me through there, or you can just scan, for those who are here, you can scan and go to my website. There is a contact form on my website as well.